Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I bring to you
Lagoon.
And the unfortunate thing is by the time I've uploaded this,
Lagoon
will have been removed from the global rotation. Unfortunate, but that doesn't mean we can't enjoy this match. So the cool thing about this map in particular is that on the 2 base side, these bases are segregated from the rest of the map. So you have to find a way to get your units to the mainland. So they give you this nice little lander. Great. Doesn't solve everything though. So the predicament is, let's say you build 2 units, load them on the lander, and you take them over. Then you make 2 more units. Okay, the following turn, you bring the lander back, you load up the units, and you build 2 more units. Now you start to rinse and repeat this, and what you end up finding is that you will soon have a plethora of units on the island. So if you really want every single part of your unit count to really be effective, at some point they need to be moved to the mainland. So you're going to want some sort of other transport, either a black boat or T-copter, something, whatever makes sense depending on your build order. The other thing that's brought up by the lander is that the lander can only transport 2 units every other day. Meaning that if you were to, say, go to this front, every day you get +1 unit on this front as an average. And then your opponent, as an average, only having 1 base, also only has +1 every single turn. So initially it's going to be a unit count equal-ish somewhat. Of course, the lander's not going to be delivering every single turn due to certain circumstances. But we're going to see how that works out in the early and mid game. You may also notice that this is a quad tower map. Like a lot of these quad tower competitive maps, 2 of the comm towers are spoken for. However, they're going to take a while to come online. And then the other 2 are somewhat contestable. In fact, these ones I would argue are very contestable. On most maps, it comes down to fighting for the comm towers. On most matches on this map, I should say. What's probably going to end up happening is, especially in tier 1, these are going to be very highly sought after, and there's going to be a lot of, let's say, strategy in trying to acquire these. In the middle, it's not going to be so strong. Now, there are properties in the middle. However, let's say the 2 contestable ones, these 2, it's just 2 cities, and to put a bunch of resources over there and not try to fight for the comm towers could be different. And we'll actually see the issues tier 1 face with quad comm towers during the match. I'm going to very quickly touch on the CO. Sasha is a very popular one on this map. And it's understandable because Sasha has the ability to somewhat manipulate the build order. So she can usually either skip a few more cities in the opening and not be negatively affected by the build order. She can usually get some extra tanks in the build order. Maybe she can get the first battlecopter in the build order or the first tech up. Those are the things that she's usually allotted in decisions like this. So if she can get both comm towers, that could actually be to her benefit. Von Bolt, on the other hand, is a little more my speed. And because with Von Bolt, the overall strategic goal in this map is a little bit more clear. You want to force Sasha to fight over the comm towers. Now, naturally, Von Bolt is a more brawly CO. He wants to keep brawling with the opponent because in the long run, due to his day-to-day, he will come out victorious. Sasha is the only one, I believe she's the only one who doesn't get some kind of attack or defense bonus for her day-to-day. Sasha really doesn't want to brawl much if she doesn't have to. So for Von Bolt, the strategic plan for me is simple. I want to fight over these comm towers. I want to make sure that Sasha must always be dealing with whatever threat I pose on these comm towers. Never letting up, because if Von Bolt gets the comm towers, it is game over at that point. I think I've rambled on long enough.
Ready, go!
And here we see that the Sasha player is this infantry skipped this city, and is going straight for the comm tower. He's gonna go for it what seems a little bit early, but we'll see how well that plays out. And I really like this maneuver. And I like it because, one, you're getting a jump on the capture phase in the center island, right? This is the stuff that's all contestable. You want to start capturing it and make sure you can grab as many as possible. Over here, you're for sure going to get these cities. And secondly, we already talked about you having a surplus of infantry on the island. You're going to have plenty of infantry on the island to finish capturing this. So not worried so much about it. And recon opener. I've been taking a liking to recon openers on maps where it's easy to punish greed. If you can punish someone's greed, or it's very tempting to be greedy on this map, a combination of those two, recon opener, I've been liking a lot. Or if it's just generally hard to punish a recon. In contrast to what Laska did, only dropping off one guy, and that's all fine and dandy, but I really would like two. One, you can get a jump on the captures. Two, this guy can have some backup in case something goes wrong. Because, you know, over here, you're gunning for that comm tower. You're trying to be sneaky. What if Laska is also trying to be sneaky? At some point, though, I'm probably going to make the prediction that Sasha's going to have a bunch of infantry kind of stuck on this island for a little bit, compared to Laska. So at this point, Sasha's definitely going to get both comm towers. And we're going to see how this plays out. Keep in mind, though, look at those two infantry. Unsupported. There are no other units there to help support that capture. So he is going to get it, but is he going to be able to hold on to it? And here's the second thing. We already seen he's been skipping out, let's say this city, there's some city skips over here. He's been skipping cities. Is that going to come back to bite him in the butt? We'll see. And the double arty build. So the double arty build for me, I don't absolutely love it. And maybe I just don't understand the finer points of arty, the dual arty build. But over on this front, okay, it makes sense to me. You can, let's say, pop it in this forest or something and protect it. Over here, it's going to take a while. You have to have it set up. You really have to predict what the opponent's movement is going to be. And that's something you just can't be sure of. I'd rather have, let's say, a recon or a tank, and then as let's say, a third build order unit, an arty. But that's just me. I actually like this move. So one could assume that maybe you try to get on the comm tower, and he had enough movement to try to get on the comm tower. But one, you can make the assumption that he has it on it, and that's That's a thing. But also here you can actually see if the lander is docked over here or over here. If it was over here, for instance, you'd assume there'd be a unit over here of some sort. But he sees it's open. And that's all the information he needs. He knows that this guy's probably alone. I mean, there could be something in here. I would say it's unlikely, but this guy's pretty much alone. You can kind of see right now there's a plethora of infantry over here on Sasha's island. On Von Bolt, he only has 4 right now. I would say that he has more units that he's able to play with right now, which makes sense to me. Second, look at this right now. He's already starting to capture these center properties over here with this guy. This guy he has that might work. He's probably going to go for this port, though, to be honest. Okay, so a couple leans on this move. One, the first battlecopter, very nice. Again, I like battlecopters because they can just move straight to the mainland, no issue, as well as reinforce the center. One thing that I think is interesting is that it seems to be somewhat that he's using mechs on here for defensive purposes to somewhat save on money. And then over here, he's using it to build vehicles. So that's kind of cool. Also, one thing to note, just based off the opening, that Von Bolt currently has the income lead. Not only that, this turn, look how many cities he's capturing. He is securing his income lead. He's not going for the comm towers. He's making sure that he has the funds to fight Sasha. If you look at what he's doing right now, he has 5 cities he's trying to capture on this turn. He is securing his income. If he can create enough of an income disparity, instead of going for the comm towers, making sure he can get the income, he can fight Sonya. Because he has the attack, the defense, and he's going after the income advantage. Which, if you're not knowledgeable about Sasha, 2 comm towers make her slightly worse than Von Bolt in terms of battle. At that point, the real benefit is that she has the income disparity. However, right now, because of how they've been playing, Von Bolt has the income disparity. And he's going to get it next turn. If there's anything you don't want to deal with, is one, you don't want to have to keep brawling into your opponent if they are Von Bolt, or if they have more income than you. Because if they have more income than you, then that's going to be more tanks, more tech ups. Just overall a bad time. Look at all that income. So now he's consolidating his units down here before he actually makes a push. Great. Makes sense. And an arty. I know I gave some flack over here about the arty. The issue is over here doesn't seem to have the support it needs. Over here, Laska has a lot of support. He has tanks. He has vision units. He has infantry walls. He has all the entire recipe for an effective arty. Whereas over here, I mean, he's going to have trouble positioning it, honestly. If you're going to try to use it for offensive purposes, I think I'd rather have a tank. He didn't have the income, though. Oh, one thing to note. Previous turn, our mystery guest, Sasha, double base skipped for a black boat. Now, the only downside is that a black boat effectively costs as much as a tank does. So that's one less tank on the front line. But he does need to get these infantry out of here and to the mainland. Unfortunately, that's going to cause a little more issues with his unit count. Because keep in mind, compared to Alaska's been building copters and whatnot. He's able to increase his unit count, where this guy has just been using his bases mostly. He hasn't used his port. I'll grant him that. So here's the thing about this maneuver. Yes. Is it going to boot the recon? Yes. What does that afford Sasha, though? Not much. It just boots him off. What it really does, it stops him from putting an infantry on there. That's about it. So one thing that I don't necessarily love, and maybe this is just me being a crotchety old man, I don't think this was the right side to build an anti-air on. Because to me, it doesn't make sense because of my train of logic. This right here is a one-turn helicopter. What side is it most likely to go reinforce? Most likely it's going to reinforce this left front. Why? Because it'd have to take so much longer to be useful on this front. So to have an anti-air brought way over here instead of another vehicle that, let's say, could be a little bit more usable. Okay, I don't know. I just don't love it, especially if he's going to just use it for infantry. Yeah, we can see a lot more vehicles over here, and it does look like he's supplementing mechs over here, so we can have more vehicles over here to deal with. And he's going to go for this one right here. So he sees this, and he already knows that he has the income lead compared to Sasha. Because Sasha does not have this. Sasha does not have this on her side. Two properties. Wait, 1, 2, 3. 3 properties that he knows Sasha doesn't have yet. He's about to get this one. Maybe he can... Yeah, he's about to get this one. So, Alaska only has one property, income property, that he is left to get, and then he gets his equal income. So he knows right now that he has more money than Sasha. Already doing great. Ooh, and this is where it gets tricky. So he knew there was a mech. He had to know there was a mech over here because he saw it with this recon. So he sends him in, doesn't get the one hit. And this is the thing that sucks about Sasha. Sasha has 3 comm towers and still cannot one-shot Von Bolt's recon. That just blows. That's just unfair. To mention the other one, and this is where it gets a little bit more troublesome. So one, you know, there's a recon here. I'm sorry, there's a mech here that you need to neutralize. Otherwise, he's going to get a good hit on that tank. But now you see that there's a battlecopter over here. And it's now that he realizes this was the wrong way to go. He should have built the anti-air over here and just made another infantry over here. And oof, that is not looking good for Sasha at all. And it looks like he's definitely going to get this property, leading him into the income lead for sure. And still fighting, still stopping Sasha's capture of that city, stopping the income. That is actually pretty huge for Spawn Bolt against Sasha. So this one actually has gotten some good use. It keeps stopping this capture or delaying this capture, which is actually pretty good. It's not going to work forever because he needs more units to protect it. So if you've followed my videos for any length of time, you may know that I detest this as a tactic because I almost every time see it fail. They're using an anti-air to eliminate infantry. Now, they're very effective at eliminating infantry. The issue is that is a 1,000 gold unit that you're eliminating, and you're leaving this guy wide open, an 8,000 unit. It's just not an effective trade. The issue is for this to work, you need to use it for wall breaking to open up into some form of combo that you wouldn't have already had available to you. So like, let's say you open up a wall and then you can send your Neo tank to start demoing tanks, picking away at your opponent's forces, something. But right now, you hit an infantry with it, and then you know for sure that this tank could be gone. He is an 8 HP tank. You don't know what else there is. Intent. This guy's not going to last long. This is kind of a waste of a unit, to be honest. So I'm always apprehensive about sending in my anti-air. I'd rather just hold it in a forest until I see a juicy battle copter. Boom, what'd I tell you? Gets vision of it, and then boom. That's another good use for recons too, is for dealing with artillery. They're generally cheaper. You need vision anyways. And honestly, even if Laska just captured this one comm tower, that would have been down to 5. And if it was a 2 comm tower map, that would have been pretty darn good, honestly. Joint Caps continuously applying pressure here, forcing him to do something. This artillery, his job is spoken for. He has to keep hitting this infantry. So he's threatening this, and he's just threatening. I think he's just threatening it, not because he knows he's going to be able to get it, simply because he wants to keep Sasha in the fight over here. And I'm not super happy about this because you could have known the turn. He knew what turn this battlecopter was seen, and he could have assumed that his opponent's likely to build an anti-air that same turn. So he has to know this guy's going to be chomped. One other thing, this little lander, this is one of the issues with the lander, is that at some point, it's going to have to go back to this port. Now, if you play your cards right, you can account for that in making it a more seamless transition. But just keep in mind, it's not going to... You're going to have to think your transports through. Over here, we see him move over the battlecopter. I think this makes sense because he's likely to get rid of this next turn, and that's a huge... It's less like his battlecopter's less likely to have issues running on this side now that his opponent no longer has an anti-air, if he gets rid of that. Of course, he builds an anti-air just in case. And it makes sense on this front, like I said before, because he's sending these copters down, and it just makes sense to reinforce this front particularly. Oof, it was not a good turn for the copter in these mechs. This is a decent blow. I think he pushed a little too hard, a little too soon over here. He knows he has the income lead. He could probably just chill a little bit more over here until he has some actual, let's say like the tank, right? He has a unit that can move a greater distance to actually deal threats. Ooh, trying to get this flip. We'll see. This is kind of a gamble. In fact, this, you may even call it a Mang's infantry. It's really a shot in the dark, and he has no vision. He has no good reason to assume that he's going to be able to get this. Definitely looks like Sasha's doing well over here now. And this was a Hail Mary pass, because there's no good reasoning you have for believing this tile that would not have anything on it. It's a total gamble, total crapshoot. And the worst thing yet is that now you just left your copter open for all sorts of issues. I would say, yeah, all recons really make sense on this, because he has no vision. He has no vision. He has nothing. He sees nothing on the map. Boom, free copter. Neutralizes the tank and just starts picking off the infantry. Wait, I forgot. Yeah, he captured this. Thunbolt finally has both of his tom towers. So this right here, Laska going after this city, is downright greedy, because I guess he assumes all the infantry are over here so he can do it. He's also taking a crapshoot that there's not a copter built the previous turn. So that was just a total crapshoot. Not only does he get to activate this copter by bringing it into the center of the field, he gets to stop this capture. He gets a 2-for-1 special. And there's the power of 2 comm tower Von Bolt, and that's why he's such a difficult thing to deal with on this map. Battlecopters on battlecopters, one-shotted it. Oof, that is terrible. Bringing up his Neo tank. Already, without the Neo tank, this looks like he's just overwhelming winning. With the Neo tank, I don't even want to think about it. So here's the issue. You could have sent this guy to go hit this copter. The issue is, by shooting off this infantry, you blocked it. You cop blocked it. Although it would not have made much difference in hindsight because this guy is covering.
And there goes the battle!
Oh yeah. Let's just look at the board state real quick. Laska held the income for so long. Finally won back a comm tower. And is standing a good odds to possibly gain this other one. But let's just look at the income real quick. That's not nothing in terms of the generated funds. Keep in mind though, that's with Sasha's extra 10% that she gets for every city. So even in spite of that, Laska still produced more income and was able to produce more vehicles, units in general, because of that. Oof. I'd say the main issue is that due to the situation, Sasha just focused on these corners, these sides, and because of that, didn't worry about getting the income in the center. And because you got greedy for the comm towers, you really lost out on income, which really makes a difference when dealing with Brawly CO. So if the Brawly CO can get the income, you're kind of screwed a little bit. Well, hopefully you guys contemplate whether or not you be greedy now. Let me know if you liked it, and as always, thanks for watching.